Thank you. For the record, my name is Vincent Burke. I am the Director of Utility Services. I am also joined by Himanshu Mehta, who is the Managing Director of the Solid Waste and Disposal District, and Stephanie Voss, who is the Education and Recycling Coordinator. I have a quick presentation of about 8 or 9 slides that I'm going to be going over with respect to some of the collection services changes that are going on throughout the county. Now, I want to be clear. If you live inside the city of Sebastian, your garbage service will not be changing. Again, if you live inside the city of Sebastian, your garbage service will not be changing. These changes are for the unincorporated part of the county, where I currently live in the south part near Oslo area, and for Fellsmere. So if you live inside the city of Sebastian, the garbage will not be changing. So what are those recycling and the solid waste changes throughout Indian River County? Well, we have some new carts coming to town. We have some carts of various sizes here in front of me. But on the screen, you'll see 2 different carts of colors. One is a blue recycling cart. The other is a grayish tan solid waste garbage cart that will be coming. Both of these are going to be delivered to your front door within the next 45 days prior to October 1st. First of all, the Indian River County Solid Waste Disposal District, SWID, we like to have acronyms in the government, is a dependent special district, and through a competitive procurement process recommended to the Board of County Commissioners, the solid waste and recycling franchise was awarded to Waste Management Incorporated on April 21st, 2015. That goes into effect October 1st, 2015. So again, in about 45 days, there will be a new franchise hauler for the unincorporated part of the county for solid waste. Now, it's a 7-year term with an option for a one-time 3-year renewal, so up to 10 years total. But again, it starts October 1st, 2015, with an option for a 3-year extension. Now, this includes recycling services throughout Indian River County, except for the town of Indian River Shores. And again, I reiterated at the start of this is the garbage services are for the unincorporated part of Indian River County and the city of Fellsmere. Tentatively, the town of Orchid is reviewing the proposal that Waste Management submitted and is looking at its options as to whether or not they will continue with Waste Pro, which they currently have right now if you live in the town of Orchid, or if they're going to possibly piggyback with the Waste Management. So there's discussions that are ongoing right now. Lastly, the overall goal was to maintain the quality of service, to increase efficiency, and to increase recycling rates, which we'll talk about on the next slides, and obviously to reduce some of the costs. Both the residential and the commercial costs are going down. Single-stream recycling. What is single-stream recycling? Single-stream recycling allows commingled material to go into one container. These containers have lids instead of the old dual bin system that is currently in place, which you can't see on the screen, that everybody is using right now. We're going to a carted system that has wheels for easier accessibility and a lid to keep some of the rain out. All residents of Indian River County, starting in late August and all of September, will be getting these new carts, except for the town of Indian River Shores. The town of Indian River Shores is keeping their dual bin system. It's exciting stuff. So we're asking folks not to use the single stream carts. Again, we're dual stream until October 1st. So you'll get your carts, but there'll be a sticker on there. There'll be some instructions on there on what to do, what not to do, but please do not use your carts before October 1st. We don't have a system that will be ready by then. There's no additional cost as this is included. The cart is included in your non-ad valorem solid waste assessment. It's not a tax, it's part of your solid waste assessment. And what that means is the hauler will be coming by your house once a week to pick up the recycling material that will be placed into the cart. If you looked at the screen too, there's 2 things. It says 75 and 5. What does that mean? That means we're trying to reach the 75% recycling goal by the year 2020 or in 5 years. We're hoping to do that, and we know that we can do that because of the increased participation rate that we hope to have with going to single stream. We've seen that throughout many of the counties, both on the West Coast and in Central Florida, that have gone from dual stream to single stream, that has seen a marketed increase on the tonnages and the participation rate from going to dual stream to single stream. And that's where we have the 2 logos on the screen is the 75 and 5. We have 5 years to get to the 2020 time frame in which we want to recycle. Right now we're about half of that, and so we have a lot of work, and going to single stream is one part of many steps that we, the county, are taking to try to get to that 75%. So what can go into the what can go into the single stream system? Well, we have a placard that will actually be going on top of the recycling cart to help folks know what can and cannot go in there. One of the big things that people always don't realize is the plastic bags, and that's a big no-no to put in here. The processor cannot take out the plastic bags. So under that red line, you'll see no or not recyclable. No plastic bags, no propane tanks, no ceramics, no plastic wrap. No organic food waste should go into the recycling container. But the good news is there's a lot of things that can go in there, such as newspapers, bottles, cans, metal cans, aluminum cans, flattened cardboard, plastic bottles, containers number 1 through 7. All of this used to be in 2 separate containers, can now go into 1 container. Again, we will have a placard that will go on top of the rolling cart to help residents and folks know what to put in there and what to keep out of there. So here's the solid waste carted service. Again, this applies to Fellsmere, unincorporated part of Indian River County, and tentatively Town of Orchid. Again, if you live inside the city of Sebastian, your garbage service will not be changing. This is more for the recycling and the solid waste for the unincorporated part of the county. We have some prices on the bottom right that illustrate the subscription rate for those folks both pre-October 1st and what happens October 1st. So for myself, I live in the south part of the county, unincorporated part of the county. My subscription garbage rate will go from $14.98 down to $9.68, or a difference of about $5.30 per month. Now the annual assessment, which is on your trim notice, which is the non-ad valorem annual assessment, is going to go from $79.94, and right now we're in the budget hearing that has to be finalized by the Board of County Commissioners come September, but it's projected to go up $22.67. Part of that increase is to help offset the purchase of the carts and to go to the single stream collection. So while the annual assessment is going up, overall, if you take the subscription of the garbage and your annual assessment, and you look at the change, there's actually an annual savings of about $40.93 from what it is today versus what it would be October 1st. The second bullet here just talks about the Town of Orchid, but one thing I did want to point out is Waste Management has been gracious enough that even though it's $9.68 per month, if you sign up today, and we have some numbers that we'll be able to share as far as how you can sign up, there'll be a 10% discount for the first 3 months. So Waste Management is offering that for all the customers throughout Indian River County. So it's really about $26 and change for the first 3 months. But every month thereafter, starting January of 2016, it will be the $29.04 for the quarterly billing. Here again, if the residents sign up, they'll receive a 10% discount on their first quarterly bill. Now, it's important to know that this is a once per week pickup. It is different than what's in place today. Again, this applies to folks who live outside the city of Sebastian, but instead of twice a week garbage pickup, it's going to go to what we call a 1-1-1. 1 time a week garbage pickup, 1 time a week yard waste, vegetation, and 1 time a week recycling pickup. And by the way, the recycling days and the garbage days will be on a sticker on the garbage can, so folks will have an idea when to put the cans out. Also, if you have a bulk pickup item, all you have to do is contact Waste Management ahead of that, and they will be glad to help pick that up curbside. Again, no changes to the yard waste system. That is still remaining at once a week pickup. So here's some of the commercial service. We didn't know if there would be some commercial customers here, but in short, the current rate is about $5.12 per cubic yard. On the left-hand side are the vendor supplied rates per the request for proposal that the county went out for bid on. And Waste Management was the lowest of the 4 qualified most responsible bidders at $4.73 per cubic yard, which represents an 8% decrease on a per cubic yard basis. Republic Services, Waste Pro, and Advanced Disposal have their numbers just under Waste Management. In some cases, the rates were 15, 27, and 17% higher than the current rate. On the right-hand side, there's commercial container size and frequency based upon whether or not it's a 2, 4, or 8-yard dumpster, and the frequency as once, twice, or 3 times a week pickup based upon the new rate effective October 1st. It's a little bit hard to read on the screen, but we wanted to put that out there for illustrative purposes in case there were any commercial folks here tonight. But in short, the commercial rates are going down 8% for all the commercial customers through the county. So questions. We ask that if anybody has any questions, you certainly have an opportunity to go visit our website at www.ircrecycles.com for what we call our frequently asked questions, or we ask to call 772-770-5112 if you have any questions of SWID. And Amy, what is the number that folks can call if they would like to sign up for residential service?
772-569-1776.
Okay. So if folks want to sign up again, Waste Management is offering a 10% discount for the first quarter for garbage pickup if you live in the unincorporated part of the county and Fellsmere, and possibly the town of Orchid if there's some arrangement that's made between now and October 1st. And if there's any questions, I'd be certainly happy to answer any questions and appreciate everybody for coming tonight. We're here joined by Waste Management, Bob Delacruz and Amy Boyson to help us with that, as well as folks from the Solid Waste and Disposal District to answer any questions if there are any questions.
I have a couple, Vincent, if you could. Did you say that subscribers in the city of Sebastian, if they wanted to be rolled back to one pickup a week, would be reduced to $9.68? They would receive that 10% discount. Was that correct?
No, there's a separate contract between Waste Management and the city of Sebastian, and that's for a given time. I believe there's 2 more years on that contract. I'd have to go back to my notes and look. But this $9.68 for once a week pickup only applies to those folks who live outside the city of Sebastian in the unincorporated part of the county and the city of Fellsmere.
Okay, that was one thing. Number two, I want to emphasize one thing you said, that there'll be no change in the garbage pickup and the garbage container in the city of Sebastian. Subscribers in the city of Sebastian already have the green container for garbage, and they should be using that.
That's correct.
Next, what do residents do with the bins after October 1st?
That's a great question. In fact, I forgot to answer that. So there's a couple options. The residents can keep the bins if they have use for those bins at their house. They have an option to put it out the first week of October, October 5th through October 9th. Waste Management will be coming through the neighborhoods and picking up the blue bins. We just ask that those dual bins are not put into the rolling carts, but separately on the curbside. And there'll be folks from Waste Management coming to pick up the blue bins. Or a third option is if they want to turn the bins in, they can go to any of the 5 customer convenience centers to turn those bins in, and we'll be recycling those bins to be repurposed. So there's a couple options. Keep them, put them curbside the first week in October, or again, to drop them off at any of the 5 customer convenience centers.
One last question. Did I understand you correctly that the standard bin that will be distributed will be the medium-sized bin?
Yes.
And then if you want to reserve a small bin or the dual-person bin, how does a resident do that? How does a subscriber do that?
That's great, yes. The medium-sized bin is about a 64-gallon cart that will be handed out, again, sometime in September. We ask those folks not to start using those carts until October 1st comes around. And then there's a 90-day trial period for the recycling bin. So if you receive a 64-gallon and you find that you're producing way too many recyclables, you can actually upsize that, but you have to wait 90 days. So come January of 2016, if you put a call into Waste Management, they will arrange for a one-time free switch out to either a 95 or 96-gallon cart, or even if you want to go to a smaller cart, to a 35. So you have that option. 2 years down the road, if it doesn't work out, or if there's a change in the family status, more folks or less folks, you will have an opportunity to change it out, but there'll be a small nominal fee associated with that. So there'll be a one-time free change out. We just can't do that within the first 90 days. We have to let those 90 days go by first. But if after 90 days there's a change that's necessary from the 64-gallon either to a higher or smaller container, then it certainly will be done with a call to Waste Management after the 90 days for free of charge. Great questions. Any other?
How long will that, after the 90 days, how long will that last for? Do you have 2 weeks, another 90 days, or
If you don't change it out, you have one free charge for the first 7
one
years.
free charge per resident?
Yes. Any other questions?
Since you've started now a single recycle, the town I came from, there was a lot of money made by the city because Waste Management picked up the recyclables, we sorted, and we profited. Now, the profit that I see with the papers, the aluminum, et cetera, is that going to be reflected in a future contract of a reduction, even though you're doing it? Has anybody brought that up?
Yes, that's been brought up before, and we have a pretty good system in place right now. So for the material that's brought in either on the residential side or the commercial side, we gather that into our central location at the landfill, and then we send it off to a processor. Any material that we get any dollars or revenues that we get from that processor are put back to offset operating costs. So one of the things we could do is we could give a rebate back, but we could charge more to all the residents. What we try to do is actually keep the non-ad valorem assessments as low as possible by offsetting the operational costs. Now, there is a cost to be able to transport, to process that material, which the processors take off the top. They skim off the top. What we then have to do is to look at what remaining dollars come back to us that we put back into offsetting our operating costs on a year-to-year basis. And because of the price of oil, as you know, has continued to dive, things like plastic are very cheap. So the market for using recycled materials today is quite different than what it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And the average tonnage paid for plastic has dropped dramatically. So any dollars that we would have gotten have decreased substantially in the years. And there's, like commodities, metal goes up and down, plastic goes up and down. We're hoping in the next couple of years that the commodity prices for recycling material will go back to what they were 3 or 4 years ago to, again, help keep the operating costs as low as possible. But we don't get into a situation where we give rebates for certain commercial areas or for certain residential areas. We take that material, we put that back into our overall budget and try to keep the non-ad valorem assessment as low as possible for both the residential and the commercial customers.
The other question, in the paper, it said that if you have a singular container and you put, not for the city, I don't believe it affects it, but I read an article, if I have one large container of garbage being picked up, anything outside of that container will not be picked up. And the other item I have in question is, where are our gas-propelled new arm-picking garbage trucks in the city here? And are you doing it in the total county? They should have been here per a contract that I was thumbing through. Just a question.
Well, there's 2 questions there, I believe. I'll answer the second one first. If I understand your question is, where are the gas, what we call the compressed natural gas, the CNG? The Indian River County Board of County Commissioners did not want to have in the contract any kind of stipulation as far as what a for-profit company should or should not do. What we decided ultimately is to leave that out. Now, Waste Management has made a business decision to bring in CNG to Indian River County, as well as I think there's a separate CNG agreement because there's a separate contract for the city of Sebastian. So I can assure you that Waste Management has been astutely working to get a facility up and running prior to October 1st for its fleet maintenance and for the slow fill CNG gas so that these trucks will be ready hopefully by October 1st. If not, there's a plan B to use some interim trucks that are diesel that are already on the road now to be able to service the customers, so there'll be a seamless transition. Because you have to remember, on Monday through Wednesday, where I live, Republic Services is serving me. On Thursday, the 1st, Waste Management will be serving me. And we want to work to make sure that that transition is seamless as possible. So Waste Management is working very, very hard to be able to put this new fueling station, which has to be safe, it has to pass all the building permits, in place to get their trucks ready to go. The trucks are on order. They will be coming here. It's going to be coming down to the last minute to make sure we can find out if the CNG trucks will be serving in Indian River County or if there'll be a short interim period where the diesel trucks will be serving. So they are coming. They'll be quieter. In fact, one of the complaints is that folks haven't been able to hear the garbage truck down the road if they forgot to put their bin out because these new CNG trucks. They will have the ASL, they will have the automatic side loader where the arm will go out to grip the tank and to put it into the truck. So gone are the days where you have 2 or 3 folks that are on the garbage truck to reduce the liability, to reduce the back strains, to reduce the insurance premiums. You'll have 1 person in the truck that will operate the automatic side loader. That will be a CNG truck to be able to dump that material. That's one of the reasons why we're asking folks not to use any of these cans that'll be delivered before October 1st because we don't have the equipment out there. So we're asking folks, even though it's a shiny new box, please don't use that until October 1st comes around. And the second question is your first one, I believe. And I think I forgot that question, if you could repeat it. Okay, putting things outside the car. Yeah, the question was, what happens if you have, for instance, a 64-gallon garbage cart and you have too much material outside there? Well, Waste Management certainly doesn't want to have a nuisance, and they'll pick that up one time, but they'll actually leave a reminder sticker. You as a resident, if you continue to have more material, can do one of 2 things. You can wait the 90 days and get a larger 96-gallon cart, or if you already have the 96-gallon cart and you need another cart, you can purchase another cart for a small fee. It's a very competitive fee. So in fact, you can actually have 2 carts and Waste Management will pick that up for no additional charge. There's just the one-time fee that you would have to pay. So in other words, if you subscribe to garbage pickup outside the city of Sebastian, for $9.68, you'll have a brand new cart delivered to your door. If you need another cart, you can pay a one-time fee, and you can actually have 2 carts to pick up that extra material that would not be left on the side of the road.
Could I add to that?
Yes.
A part of Mr. Hawker's question was about putting the materials out next to the bin. I believe in the contract it says, words to the effect that Waste Management will make every effort to pick up materials left outside the bin in bags when it's reasonable, or some other kind of close language. I've heard from a bunch of residents, numerous residents, who say that yes, in fact, they do that, and are they supposed to do it? Some don't like it being done because it's you know, there is garbage in bags and things like that. It's not sanitary, etc. So it's really a good service that they perform when they do that for us, and the other possibility is getting a bigger container and things like that. So that's good. The other part, the second question that Mr. Hawker had, which he's correct, in the contract with the City of Sebastian and Waste Management, it calls for the establishment of a CNG station somewhere within the City of Sebastian. The airport, a couple other places in town where we could set up something like that. The problem is, let's say, just hypothetically, it might be at the airport area. There is not CNG down Roseland Road yet, as you know. And it stops at the airport, or excuse me, it stops at the hospital, and it picks up down on 512 in Roseland. So that's an issue. So that's something that Waste Management and Florida City Gas have to work out. It's also worth mentioning that Florida City Gas had an unfortunate accident a few months ago. Somebody ran into one of their regulating stations and caused a leak, and that pretty much is an economic shock for them in trying to recover from that. So in my view, they should be given some leniency here because although not an act of God, pretty close, and they're going to have to recover from that to make sure that they can run that line down Roseland Road. So I hope that explains it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, again, on behalf of the Solid Waste and Disposal District, I want to thank the city manager and the folks in the AV for setting this stuff up. They did a nice job as well, very professional, and appreciate all the support that the city has given us to help get the word out. So I did want to say, lastly, if you have not had an opportunity to come tonight, we have 2 other town hall type meetings. One will be held on the 25th of August, next Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. And then we also have another town hall meeting on, I believe it's Wednesday, the 16th at 6:00 p.m. Both of those will be held at the Board of County Commission chambers, which is 1801 27th Street, right across from the airport. So if you didn't have an opportunity to make it tonight, next Tuesday at 6:00 and then Wednesday, the 16th of September at 6:00. Thank you.